Welcome to episode 4 of the podcast Like You Didn't Know. This week's scary movie of the week is called Sick, and you can watch it on Peacock. The main character is a girl that, I know her from playing in The Craft Legacy, which I randomly ended up watching illegally. It was actually a really good movie. I like the horror movie Sick because the character, she was kind of like the kind of overweight, kind of slow girl in The Craft, but this one I thought it was kind of interesting that she got her own little movie. But anyway, basically it's during COVID. So I think it goes back in time to like what potentially happened in like 2020 or whenever COVID started, 2021. But it follows two friends that are pretty much staying at the main character's family's cabin out in the woods somewhere. It's definitely not what I thought it was going to be about. It had an interesting little plot twist, but it kind of deals with the crazy COVID people, as I'm sure we've all dealt with at some point in our lives. But if you like scary-ish, it's more of a thriller. Kind of a slasher film. I definitely would recommend you guys give it a listen or watch. This week's ridiculous lawsuits is the McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit. I'm sure majority of y'all have heard about the older lady, I think she was an older lady, suing McDonald's for spilling hot coffee on herself. And the whole premise of the lawsuit was that it was way too hot, ended up giving her like really bad burns. I think she actually ended up winning that lawsuit. But she basically they were trying to figure out if McDonald's was liable because the coffee was scorching. I'm pretty sure we all know that when you get hot stuff from a restaurant, it may be a lot hotter, especially if you go to the drive-thru. It may be a lot hotter than it's drinkable. But apparently there is a normal temperature where it should be between 130 and 140 degrees. Hers was 180 to 190, so it seems like hers was probably boiling, not just hot. And she actually ended up getting third-degree burns that covered 6% of her body. She ended up getting $640,000, and I guess she probably would have gotten more, but a jury, which is funny that it was a jury trial, but they ruled that her injuries were partially her fault because she was holding her coffee cup without a lid, which, again, I don't know if she went through the drive-thru or if she went inside, but either way, if you're about to pass me a cup, give it to me with a lid on it. I don't want something dropping in it between the time it leaves your hands to the time it gets me. But either way, it's not completely ridiculous because I do definitely understand, but it is kind of ridiculous because, girl, I feel like you were old enough to know better than to spill hot coffee all on yourself. But at least she ended up getting some money for it. I'm sure most of us are at least somewhat familiar with a coconut. Me personally, I've never actually cut open a coconut or anything. I've been on the beach in the Bahamas or somewhere and drank liquor out of a coconut, but I've never actually cut a coconut open by myself because we all know that they are extremely hard. So apparently there was a man who was hit by a coconut that fell falling off a tree and it killed him. But apparently this is not an uncommon thing because approximately 150 people each year are killed by coconuts. I assume majority of them are from them falling off of trees, which is very understandable. I'm pretty sure most of us understand how hard a coconut is. And imagine something that hard and that big falling from a tree and hitting you on your head. I don't know if he was just happened to be walking under the tree or if he was taking a nap under the tree or what. But apparently he's definitely not the only one who's been killed by a coconut. So if you're ever in the islands under I think they grow on palm trees, or a coconut tree, whichever, I guess just be mindful, look up, make sure none of them are rustling in the breeze and about to fall on you. Hello.
Hello. What's up, TIP? Coming live from the VIP.
Did you read the article, sir?
No.
You did it? Okay.
But I do know what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna, well, I had it to read.
A lot of crap going on today.
I mean, people are just crazy. Like, I know people always say, "Oh, if you don't have kids, you can't really say anything about people with kids." But I'm like, I think I can, because some stuff should be common sense.
Well, I think we should still have our opinions. And, I mean, even though we don't have kids, we still have love for kids. And we want to see the best with whoever kids there are. So, nobody wants to see a child go crazy over edibles or die.
Right, or get hospitalized, or I guess they won't die, but I mean, I cannot imagine what could happen to a baby, because it says kids under 6 accidentally eating edibles increased 1,375% since 2017.
Able to have that type of high that this 6-year-old had. I just want to take a trip with them.
Oh, Lord. I don't know. I could not. I mean, I've seen the videos with like the dogs that get high and stuff, and they be looking kind of funny, but I feel like a kid, it wouldn't be that funny.
What I would want to mainly talk about is the effects of edibles and how they affect adults. I don't like edibles myself because you can't control the level of highness that you get.
Right.
So if you consume too many, you just consume too many, versus and you just gotta wait till the after effects wear off.
You're right.
Versus when you're inhaling it with a blunt or by weed or by the THC pens and stuff like that, you're only pulling as much as you can handle. When you handle anymore, you stop. Just like drinking. I mean, drinking sneaks up on you after time, but at some point you know when, okay, hey, this liquor is hitting me. You can kind of monitor yourself in that. Versus with edibles, once you consume them, you have to let them take their course and see how they react to your body.
Right.
So imagine what a child went through. Baby, they had the time of their life.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Monkey bars with no care in the world.
Hell, depends on how much they ate, because the way especially the way they're packaging this stuff, where it looks like candy. Even if you can't read,
it is candy. It is actually candy that has been taken and marinated in the contents and batter of weed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they could at least change the packaging so that it doesn't look like a sour warhead.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or make packaging less accessible to get into, because if you they have edibles that are like bag of chips.
Mm-hmm.
But made them into put them in a container to where they're not in such a resemblance as chips. But when you open them, they're chips, and you can read on the packaging that they're chips. Right. Of course, a child, they only recognize shapes, images, things that have likeness to what they have already experienced. So if I see a packaging as a child, an infant, and it's the same packaging that I'm used to tasting these Doritos out of, baby, they gonna be 8 before you get home.
Oh yeah, probably before you can even walk back in the room. That's what's scary, because they don't know. I mean, they don't even know what they're eating. So I mean, and one would think it would taste weird to them, but kids, they eating that, and it's gone in 5 minutes.
Edibles out there that I have tasted myself as an adult, and they taste exactly like candy.
Oh Lord.
I tell What I tell people all the time is that I don't want them because I don't really have that big of an effect off. They don't do that much to me. That's because I don't consume as much because I'm scared to consume a lot. I'll take an edible and I'll eat like a piece of it. I mean, like a piece of a gummy or a piece of a brownie. Somebody give me a whole brownie and say, "Oh, eat a fourth of it at a time." I'm half of the fourth because I want to take that chance. I don't know how you don't know how potent the actual edible is unless it's coming from the dispensary
Right.
and know exactly how much THC they put in there, how much lace they put on their wrap, whatever the case, whatever it is that they put on there. I don't know what the shit is called, but I do know that when they wrap it, there's no measuring. It's just battering into it. It's coated,
Oh
and then
yeah. Yeah.
bag and seal it up and say here. So one may not get you as messed up as the next one because it may not have as much weed on it or extract on it as the other one does, or you may not have gotten as a potent batch. Like a lot of things vary when it comes down to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, because to me, the edible high is a different high than smoking. Like, I feel like it hits you more of like
It's
your
a
body.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, one would hope these parents, if they see their kids eating some candy and see they stuck in one place for an extended amount of time, hopefully they would know to take them to the doctor.
It's bringing me back to the day where we were going through the crack baby era. You
Oh,
know, they
Jesus.
say everything about 80s babies, crack babies,
Hmm.
and you saw the effects of those crack babies. You know, you saw how those babies came out, and they was, my peers, needless to say, are not some of the nicest people in the world, and we've seen how the crack baby era changed a lot of people's lives. Like it changed a lot of kids' lives. A lot of like your parents didn't allow you to do a lot of things. I'm luckily fortunate enough. My mother was not to drugs,
Right.
so I didn't have. I was born in '87, so I didn't. I didn't get those effects of being a crack baby, but I think my mom might have been on a little bit of crack or
Oh.
something. They had to, because something ain't right about her.
Oh Lord. Yeah, I wonder that I haven't seen anything about any studies on the long-term effects, but I'm sure there are some for someone who's like a consistent weed or edible consumer and then having a kid.
I don't think that I don't think that it may have a long term effect on adults more
Yeah.
than actual children trying to develop. So I think if it may have a increasingly more of effect against um, infants and minors
Yeah.
because they're still trying to develop. So they take edible and it messes up their brain cells and
Hmm.
that nature. Then those brain cells are still trying to have time to develop and conform to their identity as versus an adult who already have their identity, can fall back on things, have had experiences in life and things of that nature. So if something were to happen to them, there was a little bit more of space where you can bring them back to realization versus a child. They don't have that.
Right. Oh yeah, because I look at some of these like people my brother's age in their 20s that just sit and smoke weed all the time, and I'm like, you making a lot of dumb decisions. Like I feel like you're not using all your brain, and it's probably because you be smoking weed all the damn time before your brain even developed fully.
Well, I don't know. I can't. I won't go deep into that because I smoke weed on a daily basis.
Yeah, but your brain is pretty much fully developed though. You're an
Yeah, I'm
adult. Yeah.
actually rolling the blunt now. but
No, I'm not talking about like adults like our age. I'm talking about like people that are still in the developmental stage.
yeah, and then I did start smoking. I didn't start smoking until I was 30 years old.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, so your brain definitely developed.
Yeah, my brain was fully developed, babe. I knew everything I needed to know before I started fucking with it.
Right. Hell, if anything, it's making you more creative in your career.
There
Seems
you
like.
go. Cause or keeping me calm because it done kept me off the ledge of tax. Oh my God.
Right, but a little child. I hope their life ain't that stressful that they need something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say that you need weed for life stress, but I will say that it does help. Um, because it brings you into a calmness. It brings you into a state of relaxation. Um,
Yeah.
some weed, can make you a little hyper, make you a little more active, but it still like balances you to where you can function. Like I have had days where I tried not to smoke, and they were some of the worst days of my life because
Mhm.
hey, I need a blunt, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, yeah, most people that have a life use that as like a relaxation or a chill out thing.
yeah,
And me personally, I think it's better than alcohol in a lot of cases.
yes. Now I I had stopped drinking for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually enjoyed it when I stopped drinking because it was just so much of a pure, clearer life because I wasn't lagging. Alcohol slows you down. There's no lagging with weed. I mean, people say you get stuck, but that's only if you choose to sit there and get stuck. Hell, you can smoke and still get up and be active with your day. I smoke before I go to the gym. I have to smoke before I go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me that high that I need to complete the workout. It helps my muscles to relax. They're now creating um, ointments and things like that for your body with THC in,
Oh
so that it helps relaxes your muscles. And I don't want to go into the gym and pull a muscle or anything like that. So luckily, with the 3-4 years I've been actively in the gym
yeah.
and smoking, I haven't pulled a muscle uh
Okay.
yet, but I have been trying to recover from this knee surgery, and that's been a lot on me. But I do know that the weed helps, like because I go in and get my 100 floors in on the stairmaster in about
Oh
15
Jesus.
minutes. Huh?
I said, oh Jesus. I don't
Oh,
do that.
I be in there like a crackhead. You look, hey,
Clearly.
baby, hey, baby on the stairmaster,
Oh
girl. I be in
Jesus.
there high as hell, high as a kite.
How long did it take you to do 100 floors?
15 minutes.
Okay. Well, that's not that long. But yeah, I don't like the Stairmaster.
It's high.
I avoid it.
It's a lot. When
Hmm.
I'm the first one on and the last one off.
Right. Yeah.
Every time I get on the stairmaster, I get on it. It'll be empty over there in the station. It's 5 stairmasters over there, and then by the time I'm like midway in my my workout, it maybe the whole section is full.
Yeah.
Everybody, but by the time I get off, they been
Oh
gone.
no, because when I did do it, it was maybe for 5 minutes. A warm up. That was it.
Yeah, it takes. Well, I say 15 minutes now. 15 minutes is very fast to do 100 floors because
Exactly.
it used to take me up to 20 minutes. Um, and I would stop like midway at 10 minutes and then up. But I go in there now. I go to the sauna. I get my 15 minutes in the sauna high, and then out the sauna, I go straight to the stairmaster and eat it up.
Oh Lord. I'll see how you do it.
Yeah, I don't see how these. But back on the subject about the edibles, I do think that once they legalize weed in a lot more states and can control um, the distribution of it, it'll be a little bit better. I know the number said it was like 1,300 and some odd out number of percent
Mm.
increase in the numbers of babies and infants that have been exposed to it. But think about it, that's just from studies of showing where they know that these child have ingested edibles,
Right.
or where the edible actually came from. You know what I'm saying? When they can say, okay, well, I got this edible from a dispensary and my child mistakenly got a host to it, and they can better track it, they can better
Mm-hmm.
calculate the numbers. A lot of people not right now, that 1,300 percentage is probably out of the ones that unreported it, because some
Right.
parents probably gave their kids edible. I'm like, shit, I'm not taking my child to,
No, because yeah, you know it's gonna wear off eventually.
well, they know they also gonna go to jail because
Yeah, that too.
a child is exposed to edibles in Georgia. Georgia's not a legal state, so if you have edible and your child have THC in their system, then that means you have illegal weed.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna it evolves into a so. I like to see where it's going to be and where those numbers actually stand when they legalize marijuana in all 50 states. I think it's right now they have 10 to 13, I believe. It's New York. Well, it's New Jersey, DC, Illinois, Michigan, Arizona, California, um, Nevada. Who else has legalized marijuana?
I don't know. But I know there's quite a few places. You don't have to travel far to find a state.
Not a lot of East Coast states is. I mean, New York New York has the what they call it. They call it like the information. They have the paperwork. They
Oh,
have the so they have to build the verbiage for it
mm-hmm.
and submit it to Congress and the legislation and all of that so that they can pass it.
Yeah.
York has their paperwork. They have the verbiage. They're still trying to get all of that together so they can pass it.
Okay. I
Uh,
mean, that ain't
but
stopping nobody though. 'Cause I know we got some dispense. I guess they're not called dispensaries, but it's something where you can buy THC stuff here.
well, yeah, they have those plus the ones with the green plus sign that say
Mm-hmm.
that synthetic weed, but
Oh, okay.
but people don't. That's
Oh no, I
th-
don't. You don't want nothing synthetic.
think about this. Okay, I know several people that have died off of synthetic weed.
Like, see. Mm-mm.
This is synthetic weed. Now, this is actually legal now. When they died off of it, it wasn't legal, but
Mm.
now it's actually legal. The people that I knew a girl. Her baby dad, she was in Houston with me, and her baby dad just collapsed out of the car one day and died from the synthetic weed. And my aunt, their brother, he died from synthetic weed overdose. And it's the same thing with edibles. You don't know how much you're consuming. It's
Right.
not real. It's fake. It's artificial. So it has a different effect on certain people, and it was actually literally killing them. They were having out of body experiences, started foaming out the mouth,
Jesus.
and died. There was nothing that anyone could do for them. So
Yeah.
it's crazy how the government is actually still has a natural herb that came from the herb that
And
doesn't
they change it.
but the stuff that they actually make, they legalize that, and it's killing more people than what is
Well,
actually.
weed ain't killing nobody. No, ain't nobody died from weed. Not
Yeah,
just regular weed from the ground.
yeah, it be all the extra shit that they be having when they
Exactly.
rap. Listen, get a straight blunt. If weed ain't gonna get it there, I don't need to get there.
Exactly. I
Uh,
know Kiera had come over it was a couple weeks ago, and she's big into Bible verses and stuff, and she was saying that she was mentioning that there was a herb or like plant that back in the day they toted it as like good for medicine, medicinal benefits, everything. But then as the different versions of the Bible got changed and different stuff, they end up changing the name of it. so you kind of really didn't know what it was. But she was like, if you study it, it sounds a lot like it was weed or marijuana.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the eye doctors use marijuana as treatment for people with cataracts,
Mm-hmm. Everything, cancer, a whole bunch of stuff.
cancer, people that have. I mean, it weed is an actual herb. It's not.
Right.
They need to desensitize the word on that they put on top of that behind that, and they say drug when it's actually not a drug. It's more so an herb, more than anything. Hello?
Yeah, you just left.
No, I've been sitting right here.
Oh, okay. Thought you were talking to him. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how things go these next few years. But yeah, this synthetic stuff, I will never mess with. I don't think anybody should mess with that because again, you don't. The government already don't really care about us. Who knows what they put in that mess?
Ain't shit the government putting out here ain't curing nothing.
Exactly. Oh, of course not, because they would be losing money.
And they spend all this money telling you to invest in them. Guess what? I'm gonna keep smoking until we start to cure some shit.
Hell, it might already be. You just don't know. You won't know because you won't
Yeah,
get it.
this other medication I'm taking probably fucking me up. Hell, I'm countering it when I take medication. I might need to just stick to weed.
Right, exactly.
Snoop Dogg ain't went nowhere. He been
He sure is. He look
you
like
ain't
he's
heard,
reversing.
you ain't heard him sick. You ain't hospital. You ain't heard him have no stroke, heart attack. Also,
Yeah, him or Martha Stewart. I feel like they be smoking weed together.
you know Martha over there getting high as hell. Martha got the dispensary.
Exactly.
And
See.
it called Martha's Vineyard.
Oh wow.
But they tell you it's called Vineyard because it ain't no but a bunch of weed plants.
Exactly. Lord. I love to see her little white ass high.
I bet she is fun.
I'm sure she seems like she funny.
I am listen. Everybody's funny when they high. You was funny when you got high the first time. I wish I could find that video. I'm going to look. It's in my iCloud.
Oh Jesus, don't remind me.
Definitely,
Your what was it, your cousin?
my nephew.
Your nephew, yeah. Oh, Lord.
10.
Sure he'll remember that forever.
Yep, he was a preteen then. Now he's oh man, he still be talking about it.
See,
He still be talking about it.
Lord.
So I mean, but yeah. On a serious note, I do not foresee the thing with the edibles getting any better until the government gets better with their laws.
Yeah.
They are litigating all of these newfound drugs that they're finding that are actually not drugs. They're actually
Mm-hmm.
the body, but they want to, Jim Crow a lot of our asses. So that was what they had to use. It was the only thing they had to use. So, they used what they had to use. And not a lot of black people are using the heavier drugs, those opioids and all.
Mm-hmm.
That's mostly Caucasian. And so now they're having to figure out a way to still incriminate us on different charges because
Mm-hmm.
weed is no longer what's keeping us in prison for 15, 20 years, 30 years just for having a gram of weed, 3, 5 weed. Even though Georgia hasn't legalized the consumption of marijuana, we do have a law in Atlanta in place to where if you are caught with marijuana, you don't go to jail. If you have under 3.5 grams, which is smoking, people that enough to people that, if you have a 3.5 gram, you ain't selling it. You smoke.
Right. Yeah.
You know? If you have under 3.5 grams, they will give you a $75 ticket. Now, if you don't pay the $75 ticket, then you gotta go to jail.
Yeah.
But that's only because they're gonna put a bench warrant out on you, and then that's when it'll show up as possession of marijuana. But if you, and then it doesn't go on your record. It's a misdemeanor charge. So it's not like they're trying to incriminate you. It doesn't show up on your background checks and all of that. They just want to charge you $75 just for having it because it's not fully legal. Now, if you go outside of the city limits of Atlanta, good luck because Cobb County, DeKalb County, they don't play with your ass. Clayco, no.
No, I mean, yeah.
Any direction.
You better do that stuff at home, in the comfort of your home.
Even if you at home and you just don't know the police will show up one day, you better have that shit hid.
Oh. Well, right, with all the little packages and stuff. Don't leave that sitting out for your little kids to get into. Unless your kid is a giant, ain't no reason they should be able to reach any of that stuff.
And that's another thing. Parents have to be more accountable for their own actions as well. Like, I'm very stingy with my weed. I don't want to leave my shit out for nobody to get it, especially if I know kids and I know they hungry and they gonna eat.
Right.
Let me
Well,
put
it's
this
no
up.
different with the
Y'all
people
gas.
leaving guns out. Like, why are you leaving a loaded gun out where a child can reach?
A lot of things go back to personal accountability. The percentage would not be so high if these 80 babies were actually watching a baby and taking care of their babies and making sure that they put things up that will actually put their child in danger.
Exactly.
Just like you cover your outlets so they won't stick a fork in it. Just watch. When you got a child, you the cabinet holders, you put the little zip ties on the cabinets and things like that. If you consume edibles, put that shit in the medicine cabinet where you put medicine at. That's what it is. It's a medicine.
Common sense, but common sense ain't very common.
It's not, and that's what makes it. That's what's going to make the laws harder to pass because they're seeing so much negative outcome from it, and people taking personal accountability. So it's harder to pass, legislation for all of this stuff. It's harder to get people to sign off on it. A lot of these lawmakers are used to the old ways. They do it. They've been doing it since the fucking, the square tire.
Right.
But they want the image of the old law and of the old way and how it would reflect. So it's harder to get them to pass the laws to change the way the imagery of things look because they just don't want America to look like that. And then too, they're going to have to go back and justify a lot of their old laws. They're going to have to rectify a lot of their old laws. That's why they're having to pardon a lot of these criminals or that are in jail on minor weed charges, because as you pass laws to lessen the I forget the term I'm looking for, but the lessen the charge of the offense for marijuana, you have to think about all the people that you gave multiple years for that.
Right, for nothing. Yeah.
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. They're trying to play it safe. They're trying to figure it out. That's why they have to go. That's why they have to go find the verbiage. When they go find the verbiage to get it passed, because when they find the verbiage, they have to make sure that they also don't put their own foot in their mouth to where now we have to go back and
pay somebody. That's what they really be looking at. They ain't trying to dole any more money out to anybody.
Yeah, think about it. Think about it. The people that went to jail in the 70s and the 80s for having a roach, a weed,
Right.
and they went to jail, and the judge back then, Jim Crow, life for weed.
Right, exactly.
15 years for weed, and you ain't have nothing but a gram, and now they're passing laws saying that, oh, it's only a $75 ticket. Well, you made me spend 10 years of my life in jail before.
Right, so I'm gonna need about $75,000.
Right. I'm gonna need more than that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
75,000 ain't good enough because you don't took time out of my 75,000 shit. You know what? That ain't enough because I'm gonna need 75,000 per year. So that's 750,000 that you owe me.
Right.
Uh, I make 75,000. I make more than $75,000 a year, and I'm not sitting here finna say, "Oh, I'm okay with you taking 10 years of my life." And,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you might as well make it a million. Just make it a million. That'd be good.
yeah, even Steven, baby, make it good to go. And no harm, no foul. I needed a break away from the world. 10 years ain't nothing.
That's yeah.
It's like I've been saving all my life.
Right. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but is there anything you want to touch on in particular? Where is there more? Does the article say demographically where there's a higher percentage of the cases at versus other parts of the United States? If that 1300% percentage is for just West, or is it for the world? Like,
I think it's just the United States between 2017 and 2021.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
don't
didn't really say what states, but
I don't see that number doing anything but growing.
oh yeah, yeah,
Legalize more and more states, more and more kids are going to be exposed to because now. I mean, think about it. For those who may be living in Florida that don't smoke, but then they start having weed, they don't have to go to California anymore. Only have to wait and to smoke weed on vacation, things like that. It's right there at their front door now.
right,
So then you got to worry about a lot of these kids, people, adults go and buy things for kids as well. You don't know if they're teenagers in the house that getting access to these things, and
right.
brothers and sisters getting hoes to them and things of that nature. There's so many elements that tie into that them saying it's it's just like giving us just a whole number. Well, break this whole number down for me. Where, when, why, and how is what I want to know.
Right. I'm sure if I did the research, I probably could have found all that, but I ain't trying to do all that. But I mean, but even the article does go on to say that like cannabis ingestion is just a sliver of the total 850,000 annual poisonings in the under six age group. So I mean, it's still just minute compared to the other things kids get into. But
Boys, and they only sit here talking about the marijuana. Let's talk about all the other cases. Get
exactly,
what
cleaning
what
products
hard
and
is
what.
doing. That's where they need to start putting in laws that if your child come in here sick off some poison, we locking your ass.
Right,
Why is
exactly.
your child exposed to poison?
Right, because it should have never been stored at their level.
America is the only place that operates on people's downfall, never on the upbringing of people,
Right,
just on their downfalls. Like, you made this mistake, oh, we got you.
right. Like teach them. Clearly, they don't know.
Yeah, educate people. Stop making marijuana be such a negative topic. Bring shit positive light on it. Share the benefits that you guys have, scientists have shown over the years of studies of using this herb, what it the beneficial things that it can have for your body long term.
Oh, but they don't want to do that because then you'll stop buying the medicine.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Because
that's a whole nother topic.
it's just like anything else. Like, okay, let's take the sauna. The benefits of going to the sauna every day. What people don't know is that if you go to the sauna and you spend 10 minutes in the sauna every day, if you do it 3 times a day, you're extending your life a certain years. If you do it 5 times a week, you're extending your life a certain amount of years.
Mm.
If you 7 times a week, you're extending your life, even more. Like, because it's releasing all the toxins in your
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and replacing it, with opening your pores to go out. And then when you go and work on your body, your physique, things like that, you're building muscle. You're allowing the new, fresh, think. I don't know what it's
Cells to take over and stuff. Yeah.
called. It makes your skin better. Like people always tell me about my skin and how my complexion looked. And it wasn't until I started going to the sauna that I started to get this bronze look I have because I any other typical ass nigga, dry ashy dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It wasn't nothing spectacular about me. It was the sauna that helped me with my skin over the years, and then laser hair removal because I used to have ingrown hairs like crazy.
Okay, yeah.
They once they start showing people the actual benefits of what marijuana has on people, a lot of more people are gonna pick it up.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think we'll end there at 35 minutes. My longest episode ever.
Oh damn, was it 35 minutes?
Yeah.
Hey, I kept going.
Hey, so I'll send you the link and you can send it to all your friends. We'll get some more listeners.
Okay, cool beans.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Guest speakers, let me know if you have any topics relating to certain subjects and you want like a professional opinion, thing like that. I can get you with some of my friends, or if, I know a lot of people. So
Yeah, or I mean, if any of them just want to hop on and chit chat, like I said, the first name of the series was the podcast about nothing, but then I went on and looked and saw there was 5 million of those, so I was like, let me change the name. But literally, it's just talking. I always said I wanted to do a podcast, so I did one.
well, Michael, I told him about it. I sent it to him. So maybe we can all three of us can get on one day.
Oh yeah, I can add more people. Yeah, we all just want to chit chat about random stuff and
Yeah, something going on and hot topics, maybe like some celebrity gossip because Michael is ready to be
Oh
ready.
Lord. That's all. Ooh, I could do a whole thing on Nick Cannon or
And all his babies.
ooh, Jesus. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right.
All righty. Signing out.
Until next time.
Until next time.